Hey, Tony Gasser here. Wanted to pop in. I was a little rushed earlier. Want to take a little more time because not everybody was able to make it into the This Is My Year 2022 course. It is up on TonyGassensAcademy.com if you missed it. It's not the whole 10 hours that we did because that file would have been way too big to fit into the system. So it is the 2 hour teaching I did, and it's about 1.5 hours of the Q&A. We did 8 hours of Q&A. So that it was crazy, but not going all the way into as deep as we went, but want to touch on this because as I was talking about earlier, it's a couple things that is really blocking our blessings. And one of those things is procrastination. And the other thing is broke mindedness. And those two things will hold you back your whole life. And so what you have to be able to do is look back over your life and identify where does, I call it the spirit of lateness. And I say that to my homeboy who never know the term to use because he do security for me on the road sometimes, and we played football in college together. But he be on time now, but for some time there, a lot of times him and his family would be late to stuff. My sister and my mama them always late to stuff, and I call it the spirit of lateness. And that right there, you have to go back to your youth and you got to identify where does this spirit of lateness come from. And I remember hearing a man say, the reason why if a person comes late to a meeting with me, he said, I take it personal because it means that person doesn't value my time. And I was like, wow. Because I had got into a space to where I would show up 5 to 15 minutes late to a meeting. And the real reason when I got to the bottom of it, it was because I didn't respect the person's time. I felt like I was more worthy than that person, or a bigger deal than that person, or the star of the show, the reason for the meeting. And I was a peon, but I realized that that's the truth about it when we don't respect someone's time. And I'm not talking about when something happens that's out of your control and you late. I'm talking about when you have the time, you look at the clock, and you see that you have to be somewhere at 7, and you despise being early. You don't want to be there at 6:30, so you wait until 6 o'clock to start getting ready. And then you get confused about your outfit. You can't find your makeup, or you can't find your wallet, or you can't find your keys. And where you told yourself you'll be out the door by 6:30, now you're out the door by 6:45. You get in traffic, a wreck happens of somebody else, so you're in standstill, and you didn't account for the possibility of something happening on the road. And so now you call the person, hey, I'm running late because I'm in standstill traffic behind somebody wrecked. No, you running late because you got a meeting at 7 and you wait until 6 to start getting ready. That's why you're running late. Fortunately, something happened on the road, so now that's your scapegoat. But really, you waited until the last minute to start getting ready. And that right there has to be broken in 2022. That spirit of lateness. And so what I want to encourage you is to show up everywhere a minimum of 15 minutes early this year. Get to work 15 minutes early. Get to your meetings 15 minutes early. Get to your child's practice or recitals or games a minimum of 15 minutes early. Now when your child playing the game, you got to be there an hour early. A lot of times the coaches want you there an hour early. So if the coach say be there an hour early, get there an hour and 15 minutes early. And I'm serious about that not being late. And I know sometimes my wife, she'll tease me, yeah, you ain't got to do nothing but get yourself ready. I'm getting the boys ready. I said, okay, well, get you some more time to get them ready then. Get up a little earlier then. So that you got you know how long that takes. So go and get up a little earlier so we could be on time. And I get on to my family about that. I say, listen now, my daddy used to say, dollar waiting on a dime, dollar waiting on a dime. And it's just a little funny saying he the money man waiting on the one who ain't the money man. And I tease them like that sometimes, but really what I'm trying to teach them. And I remember there was a time, and now it's funny when something get pointed out. There was a time my son would be late a lot to school. They would be late, I don't know, 13 tardies. And my wife showed the report card to her dad, and her dad ignored the fact that he had all A's and no A minuses, and he said 13 tardies. What in the world? From that time getting called out, my wife went that next year, they didn't have a single tardy. This year, the first half of the year, he had 3 tardies. But it wasn't just them running late. Sometimes it's literally just bad traffic or whatever. But 3 tardies out of, I would say half of the year is maybe 90 days. 3 tardies out of 90 days, that's real good. You doing pretty good. But it's some parents who bring their kid to school late every day or 3 days a week. I remember there used to be a young lady that went to the school, and her mom would get her there late 4, if not 5 days out the week. And I just felt so terrible because she was the only child, and it ain't like the mama had a whole lot to do. It's just one child. The girl could get up and get herself ready. And she was black, so that was not good, because we have a saying for black people, colored people time, CP time. And I don't know where this started, because I know we wasn't late in slavery, got the brakes beat off of you. So I don't know if we got free and said, I'm finna sleep in. Free? Yes, sir, master. We ain't got no master no more. Let's sleep in. I don't know at what point we became known for lateness. And so, especially to my race, I don't live in another race, so I can't speak to all the other races. Now, you know, if you Hispanic or whatever race, if that's a problem within your culture. But if that's a problem, not even within your culture, if that's a problem within you, within your family, within your household, then you have to address this. Because when your children are late, you're teaching them the wrong lessons. And what you're going to do is you're going to cost them opportunities. You're going to cost them jobs. So you can have a son or a daughter that you're raising, and if y'all always showing up late, when your son or daughter, when your children become grown and they come and they got a talent, let's say I'm looking for some talent, and your child has that talent, and your child 18 years old, when your child show up 15 minutes late, even 5 minutes late, time is money. We getting ready to start shooting the film. We got to start on time. Time is money. We got this location for a certain amount of time. This costing us. We renting this apartment or wherever we at. If your child want to be the director of photography, the cinematographer, and your child keeps showing up 15 minutes late because that's all your child know, late to practice, late to the game, or what time the coach say be at to the game, late to the recital, late to the Christmas play, late to the Easter play, late to family member funeral, late to church. If all your child know is being late, when your child get grown, your child gonna be late and they're gonna get fired. They're gonna get fired and they're gonna lose job after job, opportunity after opportunity. So what we have to do, and this is what I'm be doing on this channel now, more life coaching, not just relationship coaching and all of that, because we got to get our lives together. Can't just be worrying about a relationship and your life out of order. Is we got to be on time. We got to get ahead of time. And we got to wake up 2 hours early. Do what you have to do to be on time. And it's going to change your life, because what it's going to do is it's going to give you more time to think. So you're going to have more peace. You're going to have more clarity. You're going to develop more wisdom because you're thinking and you're processing. And now you're not rushed. You're not rushed. You're not cluttered. You're not flustered. And you're able to present yourself at your best because you cool, calm, and collected. And you also picking up brownie points, cool points, whatever kind of points you want to call it. You picking those points up. Because when you get to the meeting or the job interview and you there sitting at the table waiting, and the other person come in and you already there, now they're flattered that you value this meeting or this opportunity so much that you would show up early. They flattered. When you show up on time, the meeting at 11, you get there at 11, that's disrespect. You get there 11:05, 11:15, that's disrespect. I do seminars. When I was doing seminars, and one day I get back to it, I just ain't got the time and energy right now. When I was doing seminars, I get to the seminar. Seminar start at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, the seminar is sold out. At 4 o'clock, it's less than half full. Gotta wait till 4:30. The people who early, I can't start because people walking in will be disrupting the message. And the way I start the message is asking questions, polling the audience. So if everybody not there, or at least 75% not there, I can't get a good feel of who's in the audience. So event start at 4. I gotta wait till 4:30. Come 4:30, sometimes it still look half full. And the event sold out. Every seat in the place sold out. Now, typically on average, 20% not gonna show up for whatever reason. But 80% is supposed to be full. So you get there, and so what I'm gonna start doing, if I ever go back on the road, events start when it start. Doors locked, ain't no entrance. If half us in there, we the half that's gonna win in life. We the half that's finna be successful. Oh, I was behind a wreck. You should have counted for it. Should have left 2 hours early instead of 30 minutes early. You could have got there early to the hotel, went and got you something to eat, went and got you something to drink. And if you have to sit there and wait an hour, you there for your worm. Early bird get the worm. You there for your seat. You there. It ain't never a problem with being early. Like the quote say, I'd rather be 3 hours early than to be 1 minute late. And so I have to share that now. That spirit of lateness, you have to rebuke that spirit of lateness. Because see, we rebuking a spirit of lust. We rebuking a spirit of envy. We rebuking a spirit of comparison. We rebuking a spirit of gossip. But what about that spirit of lateness that you letting thrive and flourish in your mind? You got to beat that. You got to rebuke that. Now, on the other side of this, broke-mindedness. This right here, and you got to be able to, yes, money can be tight. Yes, jobs might not pay a lot. But you have to stretch your mind. You got to stretch your mind in order to stretch your income. You're going to have to change your mindset. What does the saying say? The saying says you cannot receive with a closed fist. So you got to open your hand in order to receive. If your fist is closed, you cannot receive. So if your mindset is broke-minded, my sister called it poor mouthing. She used to call me talking about my daddy. Now, hopefully I don't watch the video. She used to call me talking about my daddy. Yeah, I'm tired of daddy always calling. Every time he po-mouthing. Every time I talk to him, he pole mouthing. Yeah, I ain't got the money I need. She be like, I'm not like that. I don't do like that. I'll say, yeah, you the opposite. You overspend. You some other kind of mouthing because you be spending what you ain't got. And so you want to find a happy medium now. And now the reason why my daddy would pole mouth is so my sister went asking for no money. He taught me that too. He said, man, I used to go down to your grandma's house, my mama. He said, when I go down to your grandma's house and I see your uncle, your mama brother, or I see this person, that person, they be like, hey, Big Tony, they call him Big Tony, call me Little Tony. Hey, Big Tony, man, you got a little something I can hold? So he said what I started to do is, as soon as I get out the car, hey, hey man, you got a little something I can hold, man? Oh, I ain't got nothing. I was about to ask you. Oh man. And so that was a tactic. And he was known for having a savings. My dad was known for having a savings, known for having money stashed away, known for not cashing checks, hoarding money. He was known for that. Now I don't think he does that today, but so he's not really pole mouthing. He just know that when you talking to our folks, if you don't play broke, you about to get asked for some money. And again, that's the problem. Poor mouthing. And so I will tell you from doing customer service in my company, how many people walk right in and talk about what they cannot afford. What they cannot afford. Now, sometimes that is the case. But a lot of times it's not about us not being able to afford it. It's about our psychology about money. It's about the way we view money, the way we spend money. We will say, I can't afford this course. I can't afford this book. And then we will go out to eat. We will say, I can't afford this thing that's going to help me, that's going to benefit me. And then we will go buy a new pair of shoes that we don't need. So we will say, oh, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. And I have done this countless times. It'll be times I look and I say, I can't afford something. I'm not finna do this. I'm not finna do that. Like, for example, but this is a little different though. This is a little different. School reached out to me because one of the students, I think I mentored him at his high school, told him about me and they want me to do a speaking engagement. They asked me the cost. I told them it's no cost. You know, I don't charge for come speak to the little school, the diversity student council. I know them things be broke because when I used to have to charge because I needed that money to live, them people they will say, yeah, our budget is $4,000 for the year. I'm like, what in the world? Y'all got to share a cup of coffee. It's 8 of y'all sitting at the table planning the event with 1 cup of coffee. I see 8 sets of lipstick on this cup, but that's how they are. So I told this school here, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And now I have an option to do a Zoom with them. Now, when I look up the flights, now I fly first class. I'm taking Caleb so he could be on the panel with me. And he closer to their age than I am. And the first class flight is $1,000. I'm paying me and his flight. That's $2,000. And then I'm paying for the hotel room. That's going to be another $300 to $500. Rent a car, probably going to be another couple $100. So I'm coming out of pocket to go talk to these students in the tune about $3,000. I just said I'm not finna do no miscellaneous random spending in 2022. And then look what I'm getting ready to do. Now that is a little different because it's purpose-based. So I say for this young man to think about me, for him to submit my name, I don't know who's going to be in that room. At this room could be the next Barack Obama. In this room could be the next Serena Williams. Could be the next, whoever. Oprah Winfrey or something like that. A lot of people inside say Oprah name, people be out. Don't not mention that. Man, leave that woman alone. Y'all don't know that woman. And so could be the whoever. I don't know why God put on my heart to spend my money to go up there and speak to them students and knowing that it could be 5 students in there. If I get in there and there's 5 students, I'm going to say, listen, one of y'all better be great. One of y'all better become something. because I done spent this $3,000 to come up here. Now listen to me. Now, when I look at that, I realize that's how we are with money. Now, it's 99% of people that will never spend $3,000 to go speak to somebody, kids that they don't know. But that's another thing of going from broke-minded to rich-minded, is that has stretched my mindset. So it keep my blessings flowing because I'm abundant-minded. I'm thinking abundantly and not scarcely. So if you have a scarcity mindset, you miss blessings and opportunities. On that flight, I'm gonna have a vision of a move in business that's gonna earn me tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on that flight, going or coming back, or at night in the hotel room. I'm gonna have a vision because of me stretching, because of me getting on that plane, because of me flying first class, because of me renting a car, because of me staying in a 4-star hotel and not going up there trying to slum it because I can afford a little more. I'm going to stretch, and that's going to stretch my mind. So instead of my head being this open, it's finna be this open, and I'm going to be able to feel the breeze. I'm going to be so aware of every opportunity, every business idea, because I'm spending that money on something that's positive and productive, that's service-based, that's ministry-based. So I'm looking for, God, what is the message in this for me? What's you sending me here? It must be something that you want me to get on the way there, on the way back, while I'm there. Somebody, a billionaire son might be in there, daughter might be in there. Hey, I like what you're doing. I want to invest. That's not what I'm expecting, but you just never know why you being sent somewhere. So your mind has to be open. And this is the thing. People will say, I'm broke. I can't afford that. But then we will go and buy what we want. Like Martin Luther King quote said, we beg for what we need and buy what we want. I remember my family member told me, she crying broke to me. But in the same conversation told me she went negative $700 in her account to go to a Lil Baby concert. I say, well, call Lil Baby for some money then. You went negative 700 to go to a man concert that don't care nothing about you, and then you calling me with your hardship? No. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. That's the psychology of money right there. It's how we see it. We beg for what we need and buy what we want, in the words of Martin Luther King. And that is what has to be changed. You have to get to a place to where you stretch your mind. Today we had lunch. We had doctor's appointment. And so we had lunch, and me and my wife and Tatum, my oldest T, stayed back. And because me, my wife, and Tatum had the appointment. And so after we finished our appointment, we went out to lunch, and the lunch was, the bill said $81. So I looked at the bill, and now I'm not trying to spend no extra money this year, but I say, you know what, this waiter here serve probably a lot of people from my culture. I know my upbringing, scarcity minded. I know a lot of people in my culture, scarcity minded. I know a lot of us, we could be underpaid and overworked too, but still going out to have crab legs. So if you're gonna go out to eat, you need to be able to afford the tip. I didn't used to understand tip or respect tip. I used to be like, listen, don't ask for no tip. Put the price that you want in the tip. Put that in the price of the food, so that my mind could just process that one number instead of you showing me this high number. And then I got to stretch further than that to put more on top of it. And like when you get to the register, I used to be ready to break that register, punch a hole in that register when it pop up. Do you want to donate $1 to St. Jude's or to Ronald McDonald or to this or that? I'm like, what? I'm in here spending money. Give them $1 out of what I just spent in here. Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid. But that was a stretch. It's abundant mindset. And I remember getting around certain people, typically they was of another race, and it's time to tip, and they just willy-nilly just extra $5, extra $10. Like, man. So I started to realize, and see, some of the time I would be around, I got to a place to where I was around people that I had more money than them, or I had the amount of money they got. But their mind, they were not raised in scarcity. And so their mind was abundant. If you raised in scarcity, you have a scarcity mindset. So even when your life is abundant, your mindset's still scarce. And it limits your potential. It hinders it blocks your blessings. And so when I looked at that 81, now I didn't see the other receipt that showed me what 10, 20, 15, 20% is. And it was based on the number before taxes. I was looking at the number with taxes, which was 81. The number before tax, I think, was like 75. And so it's $81 for this lunch for the four people. We went to Smoky Bones. Smoky Bones, send me a check. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to tip 30%. And that's what I have been tipping, 30%. So what I would say is eat somewhere and eat a meal that you can afford a 30% tip. And with that 30% tip, what you doing a few things. One thing, you blessing that waiter. Another thing is you doing what I call shifting the culture. So guess what? If it's a lot of if minorities come in there pinching pennies or broke-minded, might not be pinching pennies, but broke-minded, scarcity-minded, and if minorities come in there and do no tip, a lot of people do no tip, or they do 10% tip, and this what they see, or a 5% tip. Because sometimes, and this is how I used to think, I would say, listen, okay, it's not fair that you get tipped based on what I can afford. So if I spend $200 and somebody else spend $50, you did the same amount of work. You walk from the kitchen to the table where you pick it up to my table. You walk that same distance for that $50 order as this $200 order. So why should I tip 20%? Why should I tip $40 on this $200 when they spent $50 and so they only tipping $10 when you did the same amount of work? That's how my mind used to make sense of it. And the Lord convicted my spirit and said, listen, you got to stretch your mind. How are you going to be a billionaire and you afraid of a 20% tip? How you going to be a billionaire and you won't tip 25% or 30%? You have to stretch your mind. How do you want to have a community center? I ain't talking about me, I'm talking about you. How you want to own a salon? How you want to own a bookstore? How do you want to own a school, a charter school? How do you want to own your own business? How do you want to travel the world and you can't swallow a 20% tip, a 30% tip? If you already tipping 20, go to 25. If you tipping 25, go to 30. Now, we don't want to get gross now. We don't want to get gross. Over 30 right now, that's gross. Now, one day I might be at 35, 40%, 50% one day. I remember I was talking to a client and her child's father is a millionaire. And she said, Tony, this man tipped $35. Like, that's how much money he got. And then he want to be stingy with the baby. Or he want to be stingy with me. He tipped $35. And when she said that, now I was a coach. This was probably, I don't know how many years ago. When she said that, I was like, $35? I was appalled. I'm like, man, I need to go be a waiter. $35? What in the world? And it blew me away. I was like, wow. So I guess that's what you do when you're a millionaire. I said, Lord, I want to get to that point where I could tip $35. And so I say, because you got to think about it. The waiter ain't doing all of that much work for you. Now, throughout the day, yeah, they doing a lot of work. They on their feet 8 hours, 10 hours, however long they're there. Now, when I go to my suite, I remember the first game, we tipped like $300 and some dollars to the young lady. And now I tip $100 at the football game. You know, you have a waiter. But I'm not the only suite that she or he is serving. It's like 3 other ones. So I'm like, I ain't got to do the whole thing. Now, the first couple games, I had my own private attendant. So I tipped a little more because they stayed with me the whole game. Now, this time, they able to serve several. So I give $100. Now, the food order at the suite might be on average $800. So, but that's including a service fee that's like 22% or something like that. So they already got a service fee, but that the waiter say they don't get that, which they could be lying, but they say they don't get that or no piece of that. They just get the tips. So when you think about it, if you a waiter, this not like a college degree job. This ain't no master's degree job. This is a job that anybody could get. When I remember working and making $80 a day at the group home. So if I give 100 and this person got 3 other suites and everybody give 100, this person going home with $400. I used to make $360 a week. Now, granted, that's only one day out the week and that's not every week. So they got to have another job. So, you know, you take that in consideration too. But that's still a good amount of money. But I had to stretch my mind. So when I heard that 35, I was floored. But then I started to stretch my mind. And I started with tipping 10% on carryout. And then I went to making sure instead of doing 15%, I did 20%. Then I went to 25%. Then now I'm at 30%. And it's not that it doesn't sting. It's not that I got money growing out my ears. I don't have the money to give, but I do it because it's stretching me. It's stretching me. It's stretching my mind. Because if I'm believing God for big things, I cannot believe God for big things with small-minded thinking. I have to get my mind to the level that I want to see God move. So if I want to have a school like the Everest University, if I want that to be Tony Gaskins Academy, and it's a school building for night classes in all the major cities in America, not saying that's what I want or what I want to do, but if I want to get to that level to where I got teachers teaching these classes and you get off work and you go to the real love class, you go to the single moms class, you go to the single dad class, you go to the marriage class from 7 to 8 o'clock or from 6:30 to 7:30, and you taking these classes, you getting real knowledge based on my curriculum. But this building, this floor costing me $10,000, $20,000 a month. And if I want to have this in Atlanta, in Houston, in New York gonna be $40,000 a month. LA gonna be $30,000 a month. These places where it's a physical location of Tony Gaskins Academy teaching the things that school does not teach. I got to believe God bigger. So I got to stretch my mind. I can't be going in there nickel and diming and penny pinching with this scarcity mindset. And see, that's what happens too. That's one of the issues with this poor mindset when you on these financial plans that have you with the envelope system. Sometimes is you got to make sure that while you using them envelopes, And while you got this super budget, that it's not shrinking your mindset. Be responsible, but make sure you aren't shrinking your mindset to a mindset of scarcity. Because one of the things that my wife, because you know, Jamaica, everything Irie, they lyman. And so my wife don't use those words, but that's really like her motto of life, like live for today. And God rest his soul. Y'all know I lost Garrett, my videographer, who filmed all the courses on Tony Gaston Academy. And it just keep reminding me over and over, live for today. And the Bible says that. The Bible say don't worry about tomorrow, because it's going to come with its own set of problems. And why are you worrying about what you're going to eat and what you're going to wear? If I clothe the lilies of the field and I feed the fowls of the air, how much more will I do for you, my child? And so I remember the times where I would be in worry about money, and I would pass up something. And then a little while later, I get a blessing. And I'm like, man, had I believed God and trust that everything would be okay, I could have lived for that day and had that experience with my family. But I did not have that experience out of scarcity, out of fear, and God delivered. So do I walk by faith and trust, or do I only walk by what I could see? Do I really have faith? Now, don't get this twisted. I'm not saying be irresponsible, but what I'm saying is count the cost. And so what I mean by count the cost is, if your child asks you on a Friday night, can we go see Spider-Man? Spider-Man, send me a chat. Can we go see Spider-Man? And you say, no, we can't go see Spider-Man. We can't afford that. We cannot afford that. And the next day, God called your child home. How would you feel? Would you say, man, I'm glad I said no to my child about going to see Spider-Man so that I could have that $30 to put toward their funeral? Or would you say, I wish I would have given my child that experience instead of being so fearful over $30? But see, guess what? When you spend that $30 on them 2 movie tickets, if it's you and your child, when you spend that $30, listen to me, this is what's going to happen with your mind. This is what's going to happen. You're going to say, okay, $30. Okay, Friday. You finna look at the calendar. Okay, how many Fridays in this month? Oh, Lord. 5 Fridays? Okay. 3 times 5, 15. $150. Okay, $150. Lord, where this $150 gonna come from? Because this child know they love some movies. So now your skill, your gift that you've been sitting on, that's been in the closet, like R. Kelly and Ronald Isley, it's been in the closet. And now because you need $150 more, you take and you get you a piece, you get on your computer and you go into Microsoft Word and you use your 9th grade computer class lesson and you put in bold Sunday dinners, and then you put $15 a plate, $10 a plate, and then you put January, what's the day? The 3rd, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4, 5, 6, 7. January 7th, no, 9th, that's Sunday. January 9th, we having lasagna, garlic bread, broccoli. January 16th, smoked turkey, string beans, macaroni and cheese. January 23rd, meatloaf, mashed potatoes and gravy, and corn. That don't go together. January 30th, fried chicken, collard green, cornbread, mac and cheese. You type up on your menu, you got your computer that you paid $300 for out your tax return last year. You got your printer that you paid $20 for. You print out that flyer, and now you go to every apartment on your floor and on the floors above and beneath you. You break the rule now of no soliciting, but you really ain't soliciting because you live there, so you just let out the law, and you slip that on around their door handle, or you slip that under their door. They see your child hair be neat, face clean, smile white. They see you clean, so they trust your cleanliness, and they also like your boldness. And you might have some dope boys in your apartment complex. So they hustling, they moving around. So they come give you 15 for the plate. They finna give you 30 for the plate. Hey, here you go, mama. Hey, here you go, mama. And they gonna put $20 in your child hand. Hey, get you a toy. When your mama take you to Walmart, get you something. And you better be good. You got good grades. Look, the dope boys paying double. Then you got the single woman who watching Harlem all night. She a RN, but she no kids, no man. So she want her good home cooked meal, cause now she a traveling nurse. So she away from her mama, and she on a short-term lease. So she paying you $15 for your plate, but she tipping you another $5. She just giving you a straight 20 because she making $8,000 a week right now because of the situation. This young lady, she living. Then you got the single man who wife done passed away, the widower. He finna hit you with that 20. So next thing you know, you selling 20 plates every Sunday, and you averaging $20 a plate. Now you making $400 a Sunday, but all you stretch your mind for was $150. Now you making $400 a Sunday. Next thing you know is 5 Sundays that month. 4 times 5 is 20. You done made $2,000 selling plates. You hear me? Per plate, it costs $3 a plate based on the grocery cost. $6 at the most. You put in your pocket profit $14 to $17. So now, movie, child, we going to the movie. We finna get some of this expensive popcorn. You want one of these expensive hot dogs? You want one of these expensive drinks? Now, because you stretch your mind. See, stop being scared. See, this is the thing. I'm gonna remind you about this. I've told this story before. I stretched my mind and paid $300 for this man's seminar. It was a 3-day seminar. I only went 1 day because I ain't like his attitude. I ain't like his energy. He had somebody speak on the stage. The man pitched a course about your brand story or your brand whatever. And he talked about identifying your proprietary process. And so from that lesson, I spent the money. I spent $1,000 for that course. I had $100. I went into the negative $900 on my business expense account. It was probably a couple weeks later. I don't know how far later it was. My account had recovered and I was okay. A young man wrote me on Facebook and said, I would like to meet you. Can I pay you $750 for 2 hours of your time? I said, wow. The money from that course hadn't about came back. He flew in, we sat down, we talked. And then he said, I would like to hire you for a year of coaching. Can you do a year of coaching for $14,000? Or how much would a year of coaching be? I said $14,000. Right now, I'm doing a year of coaching several years later for $7,500. You just got to pay the $7,500 up front. But back then it was $14,000. He say, you know what? Can I pay in half and will you accept $6,000? I say, yeah. When we got on our coaching call, I taught him what the man taught me in that course, and I didn't even watch the whole course. I did like a third of the course and already had learned about the proprietary process and taking your gifts and your message and all of this. And so I was telling him, I say, well, these the points you talk about. Let's call it the 3 P's. He expanded it to the 5 P's. Then he come up with a 5-point process that he takes his clients through to identify these 5 P's and all of this. He created this whole thing from that coaching session we had. And he paid me $6,000. And in that $6,000, I think we had, I can't remember, 12 sessions. I think 24 sessions or something like that. And he developed a program. Now, from his program that he developed working with me, I planted the seed, he watered it, took care of it, it brought forth the harvest. And guess what? He took this plan that he developed in coaching with me, where I invested $1,000, stretched my mind, invested $1,000. He paid me $6,750 for coaching. So my $1,000 turned into $6,750. His $6,750 developed him a program that he used with clients, and he started charging. He had a client paying him $75,000 a year. He had another client paying $48,000 a year. He had another client paying $18,000 a year. His $6,750 turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars. He developed a program based on them 5 P's for athletes. And he charged athletes, pro athletes, $250,000 a year for him to be their coach. This brother, and he already had wrote a couple of books, but not like real books with like real content. It was like question books. And this brother started doing seminars. The brother had book deals on the table, documentary deals on the table, because he had an interesting story. So I say that to say, now, this young man didn't have $6,750 just willy-nilly just growing out his ears. When I paid that $1,000 for the course of the content that I use in that coaching, I ain't have that $1,000. So what I'm trying to tell you is you have to go from scarcity-minded to abundant-minded. You got to bet on you. And I remember the times. Now my business in a whole nother place. I'm blessed and highly favored. But there was times in my business where working with Garrett, I would take, my account would be empty. My expense account would be empty from mismanaging money. And I would take I would have $500. I would take my last $400 and create a course. And then that $400 would earn $30,000. I would literally go broke betting on me. And not really betting on me because I trust God, but I'm investing in me. And this is the thing that our society, that our culture does not understand. We don't understand the power of an abundant mindset. I think it's John Maxwell teach on scarcity mindset, abundant mindset. I didn't know that, but I was teaching it to one of my NBA players one time, and he had a meeting with the trainer, and he said, "Hey, what you doing? Come to the room. I'm going to such and such room." So he had me go to the meet at the hotel room of the trainer, and the trainer started showing him this John Maxwell program. And the lesson for that day was about scarcity mindset and abundant mindset. And the crazy thing about it is I had just texted that same player. He was our star player, his NBA team. I had just texted him that same scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset like the night before. I say, I'm supposed to be making John Maxwell money. John Maxwell around here making tens of millions. I say, I'm teaching the same stuff John teaching. And guess what? The young man who hired me that I just told you about, that charged $250,000 to coach the pro athletes, he John Maxwell's student. He took John Maxwell's certification and then come and hired me for coaching. He said, because I relate to you more. And he said, because I could work with you also one-on-one. I say, wow. And the lessons and what we did in that coaching, it helped him. It pushed his life. But he made an investment. And so this is the same thing that I had to do every step of the way. And so sometimes what people don't understand, they look at the finished product, which I'm not a finished product, but they look at the product and they don't understand the process. They don't understand what you had to do, what you had to pay, how you had to invest, how you had to give. A lot of people don't understand what much is given, much is required. Like when I just did that call yesterday, it wasn't at night, it was noon when we started, and that call went 10 hours. Well, much is given, much is required. Are you willing to sit on Zoom for 10 hours straight? Are you willing to sit on Zoom for 10 hours straight? Come on now. Come on now. So look, it's a lot of people I see in the comments who jealous of the platform, and so they want to just critique the platform. People who ain't never picked up no camera. People who ain't never wrote a script, ain't sniffed a script, and want to give critique and feedback on titles about what we need to do. Boy, appreciate these young actors' work. Appreciate this young lady who wrote and direct and produced that. And don't come in here with no critique when you can't do it. When you ain't bold enough to do it. When you're not going to put up $20,000 to do it. Hush and watch it for what it is. And if you ain't willing to help be an executive producer and cut a check for season 2, then hush. If you want to have a say-so, cut a check. I'm accepting executive producer partners at $5,000. Cut a check. Then you could be in the meetings about this here script and about this here what it need to be about. You see what I'm saying? And block, hush. And see that right there. People want the platform, but don't want the sacrifice. People want the money, but don't want the work. People want the income, but don't want the investment. And so that's why I heard a pastor say one time, he say, it's not expensive, you just can't afford it. He say, change your language. Start calling stuff expensive and get your money up. Step your grind up. Start budgeting your money better. Start spending your money better. Start utilizing your gifts so that you have a second stream of income, third stream of income, fourth stream of income. If the job got you poor mouthing, then use your God-given gift. If you don't know your God-given gift, then invest in coaching that you staring at every day. There is no reason that every single person that's watching this video or that have seen any video have not spent even $25 to talk to a coach. Even if to learn how bad the coach is or how good the coach is. But to have a conversation about their situation. About what the coaches on here are as cheap as $25 an hour. But people will watch these videos and not make a single change, not lift a single finger. And like they said on titles, when the young lady was playing my video, I saw somebody comment, oh, she just listened to Tony video for white noise. That's what 90% of people who watch these videos are doing. We listen to videos to make us feel like we doing work. So we could brag about doing work, but then don't actually implement what we hearing. Listen, this right here, what I just told you, this one video, this gonna be your breakthrough. If you could work on them two things, this gonna be your breakthrough in 2022. Hey, God bless you. We got a little card game to play with my son's last day before school back tomorrow. God bless you. We'll talk soon.